All right, we are at the next location, next house that my parents lived in here in Tama before. Not next, I guess it was before, it was prior to those last two houses that you saw, in fact. But prior to me being born, they lived here, and this house right here is what we are talking about. And Dad, we used to, whenever we would drive by this house, you used to tell me how much you loved living in this house.
Yeah, this is the first house that we lived in when we moved to Tama. And, if we would have had the money to buy it, we would have bought it. We never would have moved. And I don't think we ever would have moved off to the country even. I just liked it that much.
Wow. So what's the, can you tell us kind of the layout of what it looks like inside?
The downstairs has got a big living room, a nice dining room. Probably the only thing it didn't have that would have made it a lot better is the kitchen is quite small.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but it had a real big master bedroom on the first floor also. But probably the unique part of the house that I loved it. I thought it was great. It had a his and hers bathroom.
Yeah.
With the shower and a tub between the two rooms, and it was just, the men's bathroom had a urinal in it, and the women's bathroom had a stool, but it also had a bidet.
Oh wow!
And you don't see too many of those around, that's for sure.
No, you do not.
Upstairs there were two very large bedrooms that the girls slept in. Each one had their own bedroom upstairs. And then the basement, just a huge basement that even I would have probably at some point made into a more livable space. I think there was storage for us, but it's big, it was nice.
Yeah.
And it had a huge backyard also.
Yeah.
So it was very nice. And two-car garage in the back, and then an attached single-car garage, which was very nice.
Yeah. Okay. The owners, by the way, the current owners, they're having a garage sale. We talked to them. They said they're cool with us videoing their house. You may see them in and out of the video as we go along. Seem to be very nice people, but yeah, it's like I've never been inside this house, but the memory that I have obviously is, as I mentioned, I'm talking every time we drove by this house, Dad made sure to let us know that he loved this house. And you were telling me before I turned the camera on, there were some hedges over here on the side of the.
There was a I can't even think of what the spirea, I think, was the hedge that it was, but yeah, it ran all the way down there, and they'd get overgrown. It was real hard to see any traffic coming from the east. And my dad, who was very good at gardening and raising flowers and all kinds of things like that, would just about once a year would come and visit, and then he would trim the hedge for me. It's kind of nice. I hated it.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite memories from living in this house?
Again, it was, when we first moved to town, the girls were both pretty young, fairly young. Sarah was just, she must have been in like kindergarten.
Yeah.
I think when we moved here. So they were quite young. And that was when we were I was doing a lot of coaching back then. So we'd have coach friends over after football games, and getting to know the coaches, and a couple of guys that I coached with I had known when we lived in Northwest Iowa, so that was kind of cool. And we'd already had maybe not a friendship at that point in Northwest Iowa, but we became very close friends.
Yeah.
When we all got together and coached together down here.
Yeah. And what was I going to say? There's a building on, I don't know if you can see, there's a building on the backside, which is, it's a church. Is it still a church?
It's a church now.
Yeah, but
one time it was a grocery store, and I believe it might have been a bowling alley as well.
Okay, interesting. Okay, and where we are, this is you sort of mentioned it, I think, but those hedges probably played a nice part, because I mean that is a highway back there. That you see, that road back there is a highway, so it probably cut down a little bit on noise and whatnot.
One of the things I always liked about it was in the backyard. I always dreamed that whether the girls played softball or if we ever had, of course you were.
Yeah, I should mention I have two sisters. So, we've mentioned them, but Sarah and Heather are their names. Sarah is 11 years older than me. Heather is 7 years older than me. Yeah. So.
But the backyard was just perfect for like having a ball field.
Yeah.
It had a fence in the back that you could hit home runs on. And
yeah.
So that was always kind of a daydream that I had, was that my kids would be playing ball out there sometime.
Yeah.
Didn't happen, but it was a dream.
So we've established that you really liked this house. How did Mom feel about it? Did she feel the same way, or was she not quite as?
She liked it, but not to the same extent that I did. She just didn't like the kitchen, and I understand that. The kitchen was certainly usable, but it was small.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned too, when you moved to town, you had some coaching buddies who you knew from Northwest Iowa. Did Mom know anybody when you guys moved to town, or did you just kind of bring her along?
No, she did not know anybody. She didn't know them.
Yeah.
But she got to know them real quickly after we moved here. So.
Yeah. Yeah, she's pretty easy to get along with, so that's good. So yeah, this is the first house that Dave and Diane lived in when they moved to town, along with Heather and Sarah. They also lived in this house. All right, so that's the houses that they lived in here in town. Got another couple of spots that we are going to stop by, and Dave's going to share his thoughts and memories. So we'll talk to you in just a little bit.